Hi, Marieke. Thank you so much for being on the Three Success Secrets video series. I am absolutely so joyous to talk with you as always. Yet, I want to add that you're my first international and overseas guest on the series. So, welcome.
Yay! Well, thank you. I'm honored to be live with you from the Netherlands.
Yes, and like I said, it's always such a joy to hear from you and to learn from you. I'm so excited to have you share with the audience today your three success secrets to creating great messaging, which we've talked a lot about, and your insights have always been so helpful to me. Before we get into your three success secrets in this area, I'd love for the audience to get to know you a little bit better. Could you introduce yourself to those watching?
My name is Marieke van Dijk. Marieke rhymes with eureka or paprika for those of you in the US. And I help people to find and tell their stories. So that can be their personal stories for professional branding, if you're an entrepreneur, for instance.
Mhm.
And I also teach compelling communication strategies to organizations to help them craft messages that will convince their customers to buy from them.
I know we personally talked about both of these areas at great length over the years that we've known each other. And on that first part about personal branding, I know you helped me find my voice about a year and a half ago when I started a new journey in entrepreneurship. And then certainly on the sales messaging front, that's a passion area that I share with you. And so that's why I'm so delighted to have you on to share what you're about to share. With that said, let's go ahead and get right into your three secrets. Can we hear secret number one from you on successful messaging?
Yes, so secret number one is you are not the hero, your audience is the hero. So
That is, yeah, very profound. Let's hear more.
yeah, so your presentations, they're always about something, right? And most often, who are they about? They're about you as the presenter, what you want to talk about. But I'm going to tell you later why that is not a good place to start. Okay, secret number two is be aware of the curse of knowledge. We are all cursed by knowledge, and you most often see it you feel it when you have lost your audience. You're like, what is going on? That is usually when you have fallen prey to the curse of knowledge. Number three, that is, do you know what are the stories you are telling yourself? You can go many different angles with this, but for this particular three secret series, I was thinking, are you aware of what you're telling yourself about your storytelling capabilities? Public speaking is still, I think, public fear number one, right? So there's a lot of angst and anxiety around it. So how do you think you're going to come across telling your story if the internal narrative you're having is saying very nasty things to yourself? So in order to have impact, you also need to be aware of your internal narrative.
Let's go back to secret number one around this idea of having your audience be the hero or the main protagonist of the story. How do you build your narrative arc when you have so much that you want to say, right? To ensure that the audience is, in fact, the central character of your narrative.
This is about who is at the center of your story. And you said it, right? When we're presenting, we have a story to tell. We're so excited about what we want to share with the audience that inadvertently we make ourselves the center of the presentation and not our audience. So how can you change that? Well, you change that by changing your mindset and really see yourself as a teacher and a mentor that you are in service of your audience. So you're there in service of their learning. So the best way to combat making yourself the center of a presentation is to really look for what is the problem that the audience is facing and what can you do to remedy that problem. I learned about the curse of knowledge through an experiment from a psychologist called Elizabeth Newton. And she did this experiment called the tappers and listeners experiment. So she had a group of people tap out, or we could do clap songs, and then the listeners had to listen what they were. And these were famous songs. And it was always the case that the tappers overestimated how many songs the listeners would get. You wanna play? Let's try. I'll tap because you won't hear it, so I'll clap instead. And you let me know what song this is.
Okay.
song is this?
Happy birthday to you.
Very good guess. A very good guess. I should have said this was an American experiment.
Okay.
Actually, oh, say, can you see? Why is this the curse of knowledge? Because I cannot unhear the song that is playing in my head. When I'm clapping, I hear the anthem playing in my head.
Yeah.
But you don't have that context. So all you hear is clap, clapping, like, what is this, right? So that's such a beautiful demonstration of what the curse of knowledge is. And I think this especially goes wrong with management presentations because the leaders have that song going on in their head of the strategy and all the conversations they've had leading up to this talk.
Mm-hmm.
And all the employees here are 2020, important, work hard, and they just hear little snippets, right? They don't have that context because they don't hear that song. So the curse of knowledge is very real, and it is very hard for ourselves to get rid of it because we don't know anymore when something is complex.
Yeah.
The curse of knowledge, you really need the help of what I call a pair of untainted eyes. So somebody who knows nothing or barely nothing about what you're going to be talking about, and have him or her give your input and say, does this still make sense?
I really love secret number 3 for a myriad of reasons. So what's a way to not only spot those internal narratives, but to start to really challenge and move in a very positive and constructive way away from that?
Yeah, well, actually, I would like to make you a compliment, Sylvia, because I think you've come so far in that, and you have taken that process and you're sharing it on LinkedIn, for instance, right? You are actually making those voices explicit. So you put them out on LinkedIn, like, hey, I'm dealing with this. Who else is dealing with this? So really putting a spotlight on those negative voices really helps them to shrink. And not only that, they will shrink for you, but in your case, you're also helping other people with them. Because a lot of people are saying, I must be the only one that has this. And it rarely is. There's always somebody out there who feels the same way. Public speaking is still fear number 1. So that means there's lots of negative self-talk out there that people believe that, oh, I'm not a natural good public speaker. And that is so wrong. Because I believe communication is governed by a number of rules. And once you understand those rules, for instance, make your audience the hero, not yourself, then it becomes a lot easier. So this is something everybody can learn.
What a great point to end on for today, Marieke. What is the best way for someone to continue the conversation with you going forward?
Best way to be in touch with me with an English-speaking audience is on LinkedIn. So my handle is MS Van Dijk. My last name, you can show it here on the screen. And I would love to connect with your viewers here as well.
Thank you so much, Marieke. Always a joy to talk with you. And thank you for your insight today. I hope to have you back on the series before long, though.
Sounds great. I'll be back.